everyone, welcome to Soul Talk with Sonia. I'm Sonia. This is my special guest, my boo, my bae. So we're talking about from singleness to marriage part 4. And so today my question for my husband is, why do you think in marriage, no, what do you think it takes to have a successful marriage?
That's a loaded question. But to have a successful marriage, number one, God has to be right smack dab in the middle of it. If He's not there, then we really don't have anything to build on. Um, there's no glue that's holding the whole thing together, and He is the glue that holds a marriage together. After all, He is the one that instituted marriage, and so if you don't have Him, you really don't have much. You just have quote unquote an agreement, and hopefully, with your own through your own willpower, it'll hold up. But when we look at life and the things that it can throw at a relationship, uh, you need more. You need more. So um, that's first and foremost. Relationships are complex, and so it takes holding the hand of God to transcend a lot of things that can happen in a relationship. And it takes work. And so you work at your relationship with God, but you also work at your relationship with your partner, with your wife or your husband. And so those things go hand in hand. It's not a one sided thing where I'm just going to totally work with my husband or I'm going to totally work with my wife, and God is nowhere to be found because you're not really looking for Him. You're not looking for His counsel. You're not looking for the things that He desires to help you with in terms of speaking into your relationship. So it's important that those things are in place.
Mhm. So, relationship with God, that is to be included, threefold cord, then your individual relationship with God. I think forgiveness, you have to be
Mm-hmm.
quick to forgive in a marriage and not
Mm-hmm.
hold grudges. And communication,
Of course.
that's another issue that a lot of married couples have. Then we talked about sin, temptation.
Mm-hmm.
Along with that, porn is a huge issue too.
Right.
So infidelity, but infidelity can also be texting, dating apps, or married people on dating apps. You've already checked out of the marriage. If you're separated, you're still married, so you shouldn't be dating. But people justify it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes in-laws or friends can intrude on marriages,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
you invite people into your marriage. It's not supposed to be the two of you, but it's multiple people in the marriage. And like I said earlier, trauma,
Mm-hmm.
mental health issues that can also be a huge era in a marriage. And I think you have boys
Mm-hmm.
in men's bodies pretending to be husbands. I think you have girls and a woman's body pretending to be a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And people wear a lot of masks and they don't know who they are. They're lost in their identity. And sometimes people think that a marriage is going to make them happy. It's going to fix them. No, it's going to expose, amplify the issues that you already have.
Right.
So everything we talked about, the common denominator has been relationship with God.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Point blank. Again, if you can't carry the things that don't bode well for your relationship to Him, um, who are you going to go to? Where or what is the final court of arbitration for your relationship when you are not in agreement with your wife or your husband's not in agreement with you? Who do you go to? Do you go to a two-legged man who's been divorced? Do you go to someone who's broken? Someone who has been divorced 3 or 4 times, or do you go to the one that put you together in the first place? Um, there has to be some place where you can go to get the right answers every time. Someone who's able to bridge the gap, so to speak, between you and your spouse when there are difficult times. You're facing difficult times, whether it's a relationship between the two of you, something going on between the two of you, or you're dealing with something that is affecting your marriage or affecting you, either one of you. Um, I'm a true believer that God will help you to transcend many of the problems that you face. But you got to keep it 100 with Him, period, point blank. You got to keep it 100 with Him. And if you can't do that, then you got some work to do. Never mind about, because problems are going to come, things are going to happen. But you've got to make sure that your relationship with your spouse is rock solid. And that ultimately means you got to have a rock solid relationship with God. The two go hand in hand. They're inseparable. There's no such thing as me and my wife are tight, but being God, it's hit or miss because you're setting yourself up for failure. And so that's should be first and foremost in your mind is our relationship with God right? Is it where it should be? And then you go from there.
It's interesting that there are a lot of men who say they're Christians, but they don't have connection with God. So I get why they have marital issues, because then the wife is just left out like, what's going on? Because the husband isn't leading like he should, because there's a disconnect between his relationship with God. And the wife is not supposed to lead, it's supposed to be the husband. And the husband submits to the wife, and the wife submits to the husband. But the crux of it is the husband really needs to have that relationship with God and be in tune so that he can lead the family. And that's why a lot of times wives get frustrated, irritated, and whatnot. Now, wives cheat too. I'm not, early videos we talked about why do men cheat. Wives cheat as well. But it's just more common for men to do so. But both parties, like you said, need to have that relationship with God and be in tune, because it's an individual relationship and you both going to God asking to help the marriage. And praying, fasting, speaking what you want to change in a marriage into existence, calling those things that are not as though they are. I think you both have to agree that this is it. I'm not getting with anybody else. We're not divorcing. You have to draw the line in the sand, because this devil is after marriages. And so you have to stand strong. When you were saying marriages work, I've heard that prior to getting married, but to me, the work is on me. I can't work on you. I can't change you.
Exactly.
So the work is continue my vertical, my relationship with God, and then I have the work on me, because I can't change you, right?
Right.
If that was the case, I would have changed you a long time ago. You would have changed me a long time ago. So we can't change each other. So the work is really on you. And, like if we have a communication issue, then I have to work on my communication. You have to work on your communication. That's individual work. And then we come together communicating more effectively. But that's an individual thing, right? All right. So we just want you to be encouraged. If your relationship with God is not where it needs to be, or if you say, hey, me and God is good, it's me and my spouse that have to work on their relationship with God, write out a prayer for your spouse. Pray for them. Maybe y'all need to go on a fast together. And so it takes time to develop that relationship with God. It takes time to learn God's voice. It just takes time, right? So be encouraged. God can do anything but fail, and He wants your marriage to work, to be successful. So thank you so much for tuning in to Soul Talk with Sonya. We'll see you next time.